Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. My name's Nick Park, and I was at the New Wine Bible Week in the summer over in Sligo. And I was listening to an excellent speaker, and she was leading the morning devotionals about David and Saul. And she turned to 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 9, which in the New International Version says, Saul kept a close eye on David. But I was following on my phone, and the default translation comes up on the Bible on my phone is the New King James Version, and the wording was the same as what the speaker read. Saul eyed David. And she made this great point using a symbol that people use a lot today. And I recognize these Take 5. Some people watch them on video, other people listen on the radio. So if you're listening on the radio, you're going to have to use your imagination. But I'm talking about where somebody takes their two fingers, points at their eyes, and then points them at the other person. And basically it means, I've got my eyes on you. And she said that's what Saul did to David. Saul eyed David. And I thought it actually wonderfully put across what that Bible verse is actually talking about. Now, I don't think Saul used that actual physical symbol. I don't think that had been invented then, but it was the equivalent of what we mean by that symbol today. Saul was keeping an eye on David. The king of Israel should have been glad that he had a capable young man like David working alongside him, but instead he was threatened. He was insecure, and he viewed David as a potential rival. And the tragedy is that Saul's insecurity basically opened the way up for him to lose his kingdom, and for his son Jonathan to lose the kingdom, and David to become king in his place. You see, submitting to authority is not always easy. David was there at the court, the royal court of King Saul. David had to submit to authority. Even when David was tempted to take the law into his own hands and get revenge against Saul, when Saul treated him very badly, David still would not do so because he said, I will not touch the Lord's anointed. Submitting to authority is not always easy. Sometimes we speak glibly about being under authority. Being under authority is grand when authority agrees with what you want to do. As soon as authority doesn't agree with what you want to do, then it gets more tricky. And that's why I'm a great believer, by the way, of being under authority. In churches, I do believe in being part of something bigger where I can be under somebody else's authority. I believe that's important. I believe I need that sometimes to keep me in check, because I'm not right all the time. Sometimes people say, well, I'm under authority to this person and to that person, to that person. The problem then is you choose which one you agree with at any given time, which is really being under no authority at all. Being under authority is not easy, and it's particularly hard if authority goes wrong. So there was David with King Saul, but later on we see Daniel. Daniel was serving under authority. Daniel had to serve a Babylonish king who was sometimes extremely foolish and wicked. And even the Apostle Paul commanded the church to pray for kings and those in authority over them. And that included, the emperor at the time was the Emperor Nero, who was a moral monstrosity. And yet the believers had to pray for him and submit to that authority. Now, this doesn't mean that we become enthusiastic cheerleaders for those in authority. We can pray for those in authority. We can give them the respect that they are due, but without necessarily cheering them on or endorsing their actions or being supportive of them doing things that are wrong. The thing is, human authority figures, and we need to remind ourselves, particularly if we feel ourselves under bad authority, human authority figures can only continue if God allows them to do so. And God has a way of dealing with those in authority who begin to behave wrongly and behave corruptly. I'll be honest with you, I'm 62 years old, and there have been many times I've looked at the leadership of the countries in which I've lived and felt thoroughly downhearted at the moral fibre of those that were in authority. I've looked at world leaders in recent times, at people that I would not see as being fit to be the town dog catcher, holding some of the most powerful positions in the world. And I've thought, God, I leave this in your hands. because ultimately the true authority lies in God's hands. God promotes people into authority and God brings down people from authority. And we should never get too excited about the people that we want to be in authority when they seem to be doing well. We should never be too downhearted when the people that we don't want to be in authority seem to be doing well. We must remind ourselves that God is in control. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether I'm talking ecclesiastical authority in the church, whether it's legal authority in the land, whatever it might be. My job is to pray for those in authority, to give them the respect that they are due, while never allowing them to take me away from obeying God. And in the midst of it all, I've got to remind myself constantly, God is in control and He is our ultimate authority. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.